Hello, everyone. Sorry about that. Something came up. Yeah, I fired up a stream and I'm just like, I should do some dishes. I should have breakfast. I was like legit I started the stream and I'm just like, I'm hungry. So like, it's like I am so tired of this. This happens every time that I fire a stream. Is that like I'm hungry. I'm hungry. Like, oh man, it is the worst. I am so frustrated that like this keeps happening. I'm just obsessed with eating. It's just ugh. It's probably because like I'm working out so much. Like I did like every time I have like a free moment, like I get on the bike and I try to go for like a mile. I'm trying to go like several times a day right now because like I have to do several miles for like my daily quota, but like I just don't like going out and doing it like at once. Like I think it's probably better for me to just do it like, you know, whenever I have a free moment. But again, the problem is that like I just don't have a lot of time. I've been like, I just rolled out of bed and I started doing things. I've been up for an hour and I've already like no 2 hours. Yeah, I've been up for like 2 hours and I've already like edited the book. I've already like checked my socials. I've already like gone out and done something. It's just ridiculous. It's just like what exactly is going on? I'm just like I am just I don't know. I am very very frustrated with just how like strapped for time I am. But it's working out for me. I was checking my numbers today and like a lot of my videos over the past couple of days have like done really 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 well. So I think I have a pretty good formula going forward. I think I finally figured out like a methodology to like the YouTube thing and how exactly to get my ideas across. Because I think specifically what the problem with the channel was that I would come in and like describe an issue with the community and like the entire overwhelming narrative would always be this thing where it's like, well, that didn't happen. Nobody said that. When like the entire point is that I'm talking about like niche things in the community. You know what I mean? Things that happen, things that like some nobody said. It's like that's the point is that like we're dismantling the entire like concept of like Nintendo criticism essentially. But like a lot of people don't understand that and they just have this idea that like they can just get away with like accusing me of making it all up and it's just obviously not true. That they always do this thing where like, oh, there's no evidence for that, bro, and I'm just like, have you seen my Twitter? Like I respond to a lot of these people. It's like it was dumb, but thankfully I the Nintendo videos I know how to like rip them now. I've been like editing in like my content over it. Like last night was just really I got that video up like very very quickly. The editing went well and then like the end result was just phenomenal. I was very happy with that video and especially how it did. So hopefully we can keep that up going forward and hopefully we can keep like leveraging like the success of like everything else we've been doing and keep kind of escalating that and hopefully be like being able to like make significantly more on YouTube by the end of the year. Because I do desperately need this. Because like the way things are going now is that like the books are doing fine, YouTube is doing fine, but it's like I am very very happy with what I've been doing lately. Where I've been like working a lot less. I've been like staying at home more. I've been doing like more family stuff. Alexa, stop. Alexa, stop. Like I've been like working more. I've been like doing things constantly. Like there's just been a lot of things going on. I really, really, really don't want to go back to like ever working like 15-hour days. Like it's not good for me as a person. It's not good for like my workflow. It's not good for like the things I actually want to do. Like there's no benefit to it really. Like the only reason I ever had to do that was because I needed money now, 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 now. And now that that's no longer an issue, I don't really see the point in it. But like, the way things are going now is that like I feel like I might want to do it like purely to like get the next car, purely to trick out my house, purely to like, take like the next major steps in my life. And it just feels like I'm making enough to live off of, but that's not the same as like, I'm like heavily budgeting and I'm heavily like, um I'm not able to do like everything I want to do, like I'm not comfortable taking vacations, for example. So it's like for me, I'm not quite at the point where like, I'm like completely 100% like financially secure in that regard. I'm very thankful that I have as much as I do. I'm very thankful for your support, because my numbers have like gone up over the past year, but like the end result is that like right now I'm where I'm at, where I should have been like 10 years ago is kind of like my mentality where like, I have the career up and going. I have the books. I have the money coming in. I have the passive income. I have the house. I have the stability. But like the problem is that um like everybody I ever interacted with like tried to fuck me over in like some way, shape, or form. And like as a result of that, it's just been like I'm just not really willing to deal with that again. Like, I'm not really willing to like come out and like allow myself to be exploited. These days, it's like I'm just never gonna be in that position again. And like it just feels as if like it's over. It's done. I'm not like ever going to allow myself to like be in that situation. So like right now, the number one priority, get the numbers up, make higher quality content, do morning and night streams, podcast and gameplay stream, stay on top of everything that's happening, work, 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 like near constantly on like, my own business, that gives me money, like, and, not really working a normal job again because like, it's not really in my best interest. It completely goes against like everything I want to do, everything I want to accomplish. It goes against my skill set. It goes against my interest. It like completely ruined my life in a lot of respects, and I'm just not really willing to allow that to continue. So yeah, we are like going full tilt on like YouTube content, and very thankful for everything that you do for me. But like the reality is, yeah, we do have to become like completely, completely self-sufficient on YouTube, like as quickly as possible. And I do think specifically YouTube, because I don't think Twitter's gonna be like that easily monetized. The books are great, but like the problem with them is that like it takes a year, like it takes forever to get a new one out. Like the Cattle Have Fangs, it's like when did I? Yeah, it's been like what? Like I think by November it's gonna have been like 2 years since like playing Dirty, which is kind of crazy to think about. Like I didn't release anything last year, so like it took like almost 2 years to get the Cattle Have Fangs to come out, and it's not that good. It's probably not gonna do that well. Like but like its release I think is gonna like incentivize people to like read other books I've done, and like that'll keep the numbers going up because the book numbers go up all the time. It's just that like they're not consistent enough yet. It's like so like I think YouTube, I kind of using the conjunction of like YouTube, Twitter, and books to kind of just prop each other up and like just keep this loop of just like endlessly like making cash hand over fist, um like we gotta get this, like we gotta make this into like this circle of like never ending like money with like minimal effort, because I'm just, oh, I mean, well, not minimal effort, but like not like what I was doing is my point. Like it's not like I am still working very, very hard. Don't worry about that. But like the idea of like working 12-hour days at a job, spending my breaks, working on books, and then like coming home and like working more on like YouTube streams or like making videos, and I did do that. It's like it's not really doable, I think, at this point in my life because I'm much more interested in like family stuff. I'm much more interested in like retirement. I'm much more interested in scaling back. I'm much more interested in like you know, cultivating the next generation, I think. I am older now, so like my mindset now is like kind of eliminating all the issues that made this so obnoxious for me essentially. And like there's all these things that like I've been talking about how like getting rid of immigrants, forcing employers to train people, kind of the HR thing. There's all sorts of things that do need to change. And I'll be spending my entire life like kind of railing on them for this. But like right when it comes to me personally, I do think I need to focus on like my career development and like what I'm gonna like how I'm gonna make money before like focusing on like wider society. So we'll see what happens the next 10 years or so. And honestly, I think we're already seeing a lot of positive changes. Like just the realization that people are having that like college doesn't like guarantee you like employment or success is a major thing now. Like it's becoming more obvious to like normies that like success is entirely like nepotistic, and it's entirely based on like who you are and like whether you have like the resources to just be given things or not, because if you don't have them, like you just get told to like figure it out, bro. And it just doesn't work. Like I think a big problem we're having now is that like the people who are like given everything they just spend all their time partying and not actually knowing how things work. So they end up in leadership positions and they don't know like the first thing about like what anyone else is doing. Like it's remarkable how how someone like me gets disrespected by the masses when like I'm already quite a bit more successful than they are with like the books and like everything I've done. Like the only thing I struggle with really is just like having like an unsupportive family. That's really it, honestly. Like if it wasn't for that, I'd be doing way better than pretty much all these people. It's just embarrassing. It is embarrassing. Steam Deck today is out of stock. Yeah, they're probably just not stocking it to create the illusion that people are buying the Steam Deck. Yeah, that's probably all it is. Like, it sold out after the price hike. That doesn't make any sense. Like it doesn't make any sense. Yeah. So they're probably just like creating the illusion that the Steam Deck is popular, but like it does need to be called out for what it is. It's just a dumb marketing tactic and shouldn't really be taken seriously by anyone. Like I don't even want to hear like sold out when it comes to like online purchases of things. Like I think you can just like I think you should be able to just like pay the fee for it, like be put on a wait list and then like just have it when like the product is available. You know what I mean? Like I don't understand the concept of like online orders being out of stock. I can understand like if you had to wait a little bit for it to like be in stock, but like, I paid for like a new bookshelf and like it takes them like 10 weeks to build it, right? And it'll be shipped out here then. But like I don't understand the concept of like paying for a Steam Deck. Like I don't understand the idea of like an online order being out of stock. That doesn't make any sense. Like just put me on a wait list and ship it out when like you have something in stock. Okay. Like I don't understand what's so complicated about that. And if you can't get it, like you can just refund me the money. It's like this isn't complicated, like I don't understand. It's like it's probably it's just a marketing thing. It's not real. The Steam Deck is not successful. It's not popular, and it's not going uncriticized because this is the funny thing because last night we watched like Nintendine. We saw Nintendine. He came out and he was like Oh man, PC gamers, they're not going to care about this. Like PC gamers, like it doesn't matter if PCs are expensive because PC gamers already have PCs that they can already play their PC games on. so so they don't need new hardware. This is obviously like retarded. That's like saying that like I don't need a Switch 2 because a Switch 1 exists, okay? Because I already have a Switch 1. It's like it's so stupid and it's so out of touch. Like I think even like the most hardcore PC gamers will tell you that like, like a decade later and you should probably upgrade your PC. It's like it doesn't make any sense. But like yeah, like it turns out that that wasn't actually the case and that like Nintendo was just coping like a motherfucker. Like I saw so many PC gamers like giving Valve flack for this. Like, Review Tech USA did, Fortanga did, like, everybody other than Nintendo was like shitting on like the Steam Deck prices. Like Nintendo is the only person I've seen try and damage control the fact that like the Steam Deck is now like significantly more expensive than a Switch 2. Cause like people forget, last year people were saying that like the Steam Deck was like a better value than a Switch 2 because it had like better third party games and like it was just it was better hardware supposedly. And like over the past year, we've seen how that's not true because the Switch 2 is getting all of the third party games. It has the Nintendo exclusives. It's like, and now it's more affordable to boot. Like, again, we went through the past year of being told that the Switch 2 games were too expensive and that the hardware was overpriced. And what happened? Everybody else raised their prices and Nintendo slashed the prices of their games. Okay, like Yoshi is like $60, Star Fox is like 50. I don't know how much Splatoon Raiders is. Splatoon Raiders is 50 as well, I think. Like the three major Switch 2 games of like the summer are all like releasing at lower price points. And I feel like people don't understand what a big deal that is. Is that there will be like bigger Nintendo games that come out like Mario Kart World, but like the variable pricing model is real. And it seems like unlike every other publisher, Nintendo is very willing to release like lower budget games at lower prices. And I feel like people just don't understand what a big deal that is because it's going to lead more people to like, checking out Splatoon or checking out like other cheaper things. I don't know. If they're anything like my mom, because I remember going out and just being like, you can't buy that, it's too expensive. Like, okay, and then I just find something cheaper, and she just like refuses to do it again. Like, I don't know if like most people would do that. I don't know. Like, I don't know what the buying habits of other families were like, because like what ended up happening to me. Like whenever I ordered, I wanted something, or whether I wanted money or anything, like it was always like I don't have money for that, or like it's too expensive. Like I very rarely got anything, like, and never when I just asked for it. So 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 like I don't know like how common that is. I don't know how like common that is, but it's like but yeah, I imagine like most people will like see that of like, oh yeah, you can get Splatoon Raiders for $50 instead of getting Mario Kart World, and I think people might actually like look for that. I mean, it's gonna be like that's like a $30 difference. Like that's not bad at all. Like it's gonna be very very interesting to see like if this tactic actually pays off because they tried doing this with like Tropical Freeze back in 2014, but like nobody noticed or cared. Like it feels like they're coming back like full force on it like this gen, and I find that really interesting. Yeah, if you think about it, like the Switch 2 is Nintendo lowered the price in their games. No, no. Okay. So Nintendo has a variable pricing model. So what that means is that like games are priced based on their budget. So what you saw over the past year is that like we were getting like a lot of $80 and $70 games, right? Because they were higher budget. These were in development for like several years. Yeah, Mario Kart World I think was in development since like 2020 or something like that. Like it was these were like, these huge like, big AAA Nintendo games, right? That Bonanza, um you know, Air Riders to an extent, like these games were like full price releases, right? And then like we're kind of getting into like the lower budget stuff. stuff that was made with smaller teams, stuff that's a bit more like budget and fringe, like and so those games are launching at like lower prices. So like Yoshi and the Mysterious Book, $50 if you buy it digitally. It's 60 if you buy it physical, but like yeah. So like yeah, Yoshi and the Mysterious Book is $60, right? But you can get it for no, I think it's $70, but you can get it for 60 digitally, I think. So yeah, you have like the lower budget games, and then you have like a digital discount. So like I think Star Fox is launching at $50 digitally. So like it's interesting to see how they're like trying to experiment with the pricing. This is one of those things that I think a lot of people are kind of sleeping on about the console right now, is like just how badly they're gonna kill it. Yeah, because I remember like earlier this year, Nintendo was trying to tell people that like the variable pricing wasn't real, and that everything would be like $80 indefinitely, which wasn't even true. Like when Mario Kart World came out, it was weird, like how desperate the community was to um to downplay like the Switch 2. Like I remember like Angry Joe was coming out trying to say that like Switch 2 games were like $90. They were like doing this weird thing where they were looking at like the Canadian version of Mario Kart World on Switch 2. It's like, "Oh man, it's going to run you $90 for this game." Like, what are you talking about? That's not true. It was weird how they tried to like meme the whole overpriced game thing into reality. Like, and you're gonna see the same people like not say a thing when Grand Theft Auto 6 launches, because Grand Theft Auto 6, I think, is gonna be the game that like tries to raise like the standard price point for AAA games going forward. I think they're legit gonna try and sell it for $100, and like people are gonna buy it, but like I imagine it's like the rest of the industry just can't get away with that. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see like what how the situation develops. It's gonna be amazing to see like how the community just kind of like tries to downplay the Switch 2, because uh I made a video about this a couple of days ago, but like the Switch 2 has already won the console generation. Right? It's the highest selling console ever. It's gonna be in full swing by the time the PS6 and the series the Helix comes out, and like those consoles are gonna have this big problem where like they're gonna be competing with Nintendo with like a 2-year head start. Like they are gonna have like major AAA releases out by the time that like PS6 hits store shelves. And I think it's gonna be more obvious that like the big major AAA games aren't gonna drive sales for PlayStation and Xbox anymore, because like the big games this year, yeah, 007 First Light, Mina the Hollower, and Mixtape, unfortunately. Like all three of those are on Switch too. Like it's true that like IO tried to like delaying 007 First Light to promote the PlayStation version, but like that really was like a move that I think is going to work against them long term. Cause like they were really going for they really wanted this to be seen as the best James Bond game ever. And I feel like anybody who has any experience with GoldenEye or Bond as a character like doesn't think that. Like I'm seeing so many people like talking about this game, and it feels like the hype just isn't living up to like the reality of it. Cause like, I'm seeing people in the chat come out and say that like the driving is bad, and that like it's woke, and that like it's doing all this thing. Like these are all things that like I don't these are all things that I believe, but like I don't really care, because like, well, I'm probably not playing the game anyway. Like I'm gonna wait until like yeah, going for these kind of like releases, I'm just gonna wait until like the library gets their copy. I'm gonna put it on hold, and then I'm just gonna like stream it when it becomes available. I'm not paying for like AAA games again. It's over. Like it's never coming back. Um Yeah, did you guys see that like Game Journal started like shilling pretty hard for like Mina the Hollower? Because like Mina the Hollower, I think, is like the most critically acclaimed game this year so far. It's like at a 93 on Metacritic. And like I played the demo for that like last year. And I was disgusted with what I saw. Like, there's no way they salvaged that game in like the past week. Like, I just refuse to believe it. It can't possibly be true. Is just my mentality on it. Like, there is no way, 100% no way that like they actually managed to like salvage me to the Hollow. There's no way. And honestly, like looking back on it, like I like Shovel Knight. I like Shovel of Hope. I liked the game when it came out, but like the simple fact of the matter is, like all the campaigns they did, all the weird lore changes, the fact that they tried to make it woke, it was one of the first games to include like pronoun shit. Honestly, like I actually want to see Yacht Club games fail. Honestly, it just feels like they're one of those indie companies that rose to prominence just due to being in like the right area and like knowing the right people, right? Because people talk about like how they bought that San Francisco office in like the most, well, I think they're leasing it, but like they have that office in San Francisco, which is like one of the most expensive places to be in like the world. No, is it San Francisco or Canada? I can't remember where they are, but like anyway, they're like somewhere expensive, and like people were like wondering about that like it wasn't cost effective, but like I think for like an indie dev like this, it is essential to be where all like the woke journalists are. Like you have to be where these people live, and you have to like know them personally if you're gonna get your game glazed. Like I think it was like a very important business decision. Like if you think about like it's crazy how like Yacht Club has been like consistently hyped up over the past decade, even though they haven't really produced anything. If you think about it, like there's been a bigger gap between Mina the Hollower and Shovel Knight than there was between like Hollow Knight and Silksong. And at the very least, like Mina was an original concept, but like I don't know, man. I have no interest in Mina the Hollower. Like the instant I saw it had like a Dark Soul system, I just completely dipped. I'm just like not putting up with that nonsense. Like, and I was so hyped for that when I first saw it. Like I I really thought they were gonna make like a Link's Awakening style game, but no, it's just like a weird amalgamation of like Dark Souls and just like I'm so tired of like the Souls like stuff. Like if something is associated with Souls like, I'm just out. Like I'm just not in it. Like I'm just done. Like I'm so tired of like acting as if like I don't understand Souls or I don't understand the appeal. Like Souls just isn't good at its core. Like I have put like dozens of hours into these games and like I just have no desire to play any of them again. Like the Dusk Floods, that might be the last Souls game I ever play, honestly. Like unless Nintendo like commissions more of them, which I doubt. But we're gonna have to see how that plays out. We're gonna have to see how that plays out. I should have had more water. Yeah, after I end the stream, I'm gonna immediately start editing. I'm gonna get like some more videos out. I have that like other Nintendo video to do, which I really should have done immediately, but like I guess I can just do it today. And then I think I'm gonna put out like more Kino Casino clips because I have like a couple of more videos I want to make. But we'll see. And then I'll probably like edit for the rest of the edit the book for the rest of it. Like again, this is why I'm so overwhelmed. Like all I do is fucking edit. Like I gotta edit videos. I gotta edit this. I gotta edit the book. It's just like enough with the editing already. Like is the editing ever gonna be done? Like I don't know. I really need a video editor, and I'm gonna have to try to find one. But like I just don't know if I can fit it into the budget, and it just doesn't feel like it's gonna happen. And it's just like I just don't I don't like the idea of paying someone else to make YouTube videos for me. It's just like I don't know. I mean, there was a reason I was so against editing for so long was um, because it was like, I just didn't have time for it. But like now that I'm doing it, like, my channel's like growing pretty exponentially. Like I hit 3,000 subs in the past week. I'm already at like 3,015. I'm growing rapidly, and yet like I feel as if in a lot of ways that like I don't know, like I just don't have time for like all this editing. For all the videos I want to. I mean, I'll probably just massively cut down on like the videos I produce because I look at like Nukem Nintendo, and he does like 2 videos a day, I noticed. And like he doesn't get as much views as I do, but like it's one of those things where you're just like, I don't know. Like I probably need to start doing like less frequent uploads, but like make the videos more higher quality. But like I don't know. I just don't have the skill set. Like it didn't used to matter because I wasn't like trying to make money online, but now I'm getting like autistic about it, and it's just kind of frustrating. Okay, I'm getting kind of tired, so I think we're gonna see if there's any reaction videos so I can like rest and pretend that I'm working. Let's see, Nintendo. Oh yeah, DK64 is out. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, so DK64 is out. This is like this is really exciting news because this is the first time the game has ever been re-released on a popular video game console. Because the last time it was re-released was on the Wii U, and its original release was on the N64, and it had a really weird limited release because of like the expansion pack requirement and because of um like its reception. Like DK64, it has to be the most lied about N64 game today. Because I think back in the day, people used to clown on like Majora's Mask and like Banjo Tooie and like and stuff like that. But like I think over time, a lot of those games have become like more and more popular and are seen as all time classics. Like DK64 has this like massive divide between people who consider it like this travesty and one of the worst things Nintendo's ever done against people who have actually played it and understand it's like a technical marvel. Okay, it is shocking how well DK64 has aged. Like the visuals are great, the animations are great. Like it's probably one of the most best aged Rareware era N64 games, I think. Because if you look at GoldenEye or Perfect Dark, they tend to have like these weird problems with like the structure or being outdated or like just not really living up to modern standards. Like DK64 in a lot of ways is better than like other 3D collectathons because like the worlds are bigger, you have like 5 different playable characters, you have all these cool powers, like all these wildly different environments. Like it's just a fantastic experience. It's just it's just like it's an amazing game, and I really hope this re-release is what like leads people to realize how good it is because we've just gone through this weird cycle of just like uh game journals pretending it was like some like absolute disaster when like actual fans know it was an amazing experience. I'm very excited to see it re-released. I'll actually probably be doing a retrospective on it now that like Bonanza's out. I think there's going to be a lot of interest in it. We'll have to see. Oh, by the way, the launch trailer for it's really good too. Like they're whoever they got to video at the edit those things knows what he's doing. So the June Nintendo Direct will be huge. Yeah, nothing seems to be happening. Yeah, Scott the Wise uploaded a Wii U video today. Yeah, he's gonna be milking that cow dry. Like, I can't imagine he's known for anything other than like Wii U coverage now. Um, but yeah, Scott just seems like he's not all that relevant anymore, which is great. The silver lining no one's talking about. Wait, what? My ultimate Nintendo Switch top 10 from Arlo. Wait, what has Arlo done?
This video is
A June Direct? Not yet.
this video was
Yeah, I think we're gonna watch some Arlo. It's been a while.
brought to you by Raycon. Why are we even doing this? Video game prices be crazy right now, am I right? Am I right? Huh? This guy over here, he knows what I'm saying. He gets it. GTA 6 pre-orders are going live soon, and analysts think Rockstar may charge as much as $50,000. Can you believe this? And that's just the standard edition. Doesn't even come with a steelbook. And in the world of Nintendo, they're raising the price of the Switch too, which is no fun. That, and now most of their games are $70, with the $80 Mario Kart World looming over us just to freak us out. Now we gotta worry about the next $80 game slapping us in the face. Nintendo has always been about offering customers a good value. Or, I mean, at least they've claimed to want to offer a good value. It's funny because you got loads of examples of them undercutting the competition and of them overcharging for stuff. But I suppose value is in the eye of the beholder. The idea, at least, has always been value. And they know that high prices could lock some of their potential audience out of buying their stuff. But the current economic climate has put them in a tough spot. Skyrocketing component prices have made it harder and harder to make money on hardware. The yen keeps on getting weaker, etc. And their poor shareholders are at genuine risk of becoming homeless. Specifically, the seventh home they keep in the Bahamas and spend 2 weeks in a year, mostly just to get away from the in-laws. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So this all means price increases for Switch and Switch 2. It means $40 amiibo. It means crazy expensive accessories. And am I literally the singular person on the planet who thinks Switch 2 Welcome Tour should have been a free pack in-game? Huh? Yeah, this guy in the front row, the look on his face, he's like, uh-huh. So then to get back to the games, a $10 increase over the last generation with the threat of a $20 increase is, well, it's no fun. It's no fun at all. Being a Nintendo fan is becoming increasingly pricey, and it's a crummy situation to be in. However, I do believe there is at least a shred of hope. There are a number of things that we simply must consider, things which I think make all of this a little bit easier to swallow. I already did a video talking about how, starting with this very generation that we are now in, Nintendo has begun to charge less for games when you buy digitally versus physically. Yoshi and the Mysterious Book was the first game to start the trend, and they've said it's gonna be this way for the foreseeable future. In other regions, there's been a lot more variability in pricing, not quite sure why, but here in the US, digital and physical prices have always been identical, presumably to keep retailers happy, so they don't feel like Nintendo is selling them physical goods to resell, then acting as competition by undercutting them on the eShop. But here you go. It's finally happened. Digital Switch 2 games are now $10 cheaper. And, you know, I do have to wonder if this was in direct response to all these rising prices. On Switch, it was already kind of ridiculous to charge the same price for the latest massive tentpole AAA game and a more niche game with a much smaller budget, offering much less content and overall value. I know I've complained about it endlessly, but it's just like, okay, either one game is too expensive or the other one is too cheap. Nintendo likes to present each game as a very high-quality experience, worth paying a premium for. But I think even they can see that $70 for some of their less popular series games that are just so much smaller is kinda pushing it. And now with the world as it be, they see that there is a genuine risk of pricing huge chunks of the potential audience right out of the game. President Furukawa said recently that they want to combat rising hardware prices with a robust library of games. If Switch 2s are expensive to buy, then they want to at least give us lots of stuff to play on them. I know they like money. They like it when
Yeah, come on, Arl. Like, what point is there to this video, really? Oh man, the prices. Like what? What?
it's brought to you by Squarespace. I couldn't find my black tie. So at the time of this recording, a few Switch games are still trickling in, but I think we can say for all intents and purposes, the Nintendo Switch generation has officially come to a close. And what a generation it was. This was the generation when Nintendo's home consoles and handhelds merged into one perfect being, Dark Crystal style. The Switch's form factor felt simultaneously like something new and innovative and something completely inevitable. The prospect of playing Nintendo's biggest games, either on the TV or on the go, ignited the kind of fire we hadn't seen since the Wii days, and we didn't know if we would ever see again. The Switch changed their fortunes entirely. Not only pulled them up from their deepest, darkest slump ever, but rocketed them to levels of success they had never so much as tasted. But it wasn't just the hardware that did it. To put it simply, Nintendo brought the games. They dished them out fast and they dished them out hot. The Switch generation saw not only a near constant stream of releases, in so many cases these were bigger games than ever, games that appealed to wider audiences than ever. Nintendo consistently swung for the fences, and it made for an absolutely unforgettable generation. And now that it's done, it's finally time for me to tackle the Herculean task of deciding which
Have I done my top 10 Switch games list yet? I think I did a while ago, but
Switch games I enjoyed most. Among this enormous library of quality titles, which were the ones that defined the generation for me? Well, I think I've got it figured out. Thing is, though, it was impossible to just stick with first-party games. So, as a little treat, I've decided to give you 2 top 10 lists in one convenient package. So before we get to the big stuff, let's talk about the games that are available on other platforms, but I played first on Switch, and greatly benefited from the handheld form factor.
What is with these people who like buy multiple versions of games on different platforms? It's like, what are you talking about?
Let us begin. Whoosh! Out of all the games on this list, SteamWorld Heist 2 is the one I played most recently. That means I've had less time to really process my relationship with it and consider if it belongs on this list. But at the same time, it's getting harder and harder to find games that really click with me. They're out there, it just takes a bit more work to find them. So the fact that in the year 2026, I became completely obsessed with SteamWorld Heist 2 and just played it for dozens of hours and loved every single second, I think that says something. The first SteamWorld Heist was already phenomenal, but this is a perfect sequel that improves upon and expands basically everything. This is a turn-based, cover-based tactical shooter. Manually aiming shots and lining up these crazy ricochets is immensely satisfying. Units have all these unique, super...
Yeah, I love SteamWorld Heist, but it's been a long time since I played the original. I own SteamWorld Heist 2. I really wanted to get into it, but it's just one of those cases where like I just haven't. I'm just so busy. I'm so unwilling to play indie games these days because I've been burned so many times.
Useful attacks and abilities, small maps and generous movement range make for shorter, breezier missions. The characters, the humor, the overall writing, it's all very good. And now you get to drive a little submarine around a great big sea, exploring and finding stuff and plundering enemy ships. I mean, it's a near perfect game. I think my only actual complaint is that it might be a little too long. Which, I mean, like, if you're gonna have a problem, that's the one to have. Oh no, there's too much content. Again, it's still technically early days, but I think SteamWorld Heist 2 is my favorite tactics game of all time. It's just a marvelously well-made game that I had so much fun with. Hot take, Undertale is a good game. It's low on this list, I think, because it didn't quite hook me in that way a lot of these other games did, where I'm just ravenous to keep playing and I keep coming back for more playthroughs. And yet that initial experience running through on neutral, then unlocking the ultimate pacifist ending was just unforgettable. It is a dazzling example of doing so much with so little, delivering such a funny, heart-wrenching, and wholly unique story in such an unassuming little package. It's constantly subversive. It plays with these long-standing video game ideas we all take for granted. It makes you rethink the moral implications of being a video game hero. And it's packed with surprises. Every other moment, it's another gag, another bit, another little wink. In combat in particular, you just never know when it's gonna go completely off the rails again, send you into another totally unexpected direction. It may be the single most clever game I have ever played. I was just shaking my head the whole time, just too darn clever. All of this cleverness, this creativity, this heart to be found in such an odd little game. Just such a
Yeah, this is so shit. Like I don't understand like the YouTuber mindset when it comes to this game. Like I imagine they're just baiting for views and that they just because like has anyone else noticed that like you very consistently see Undertale at like the number 9 spot on these kind of lists. Like if you look at like the IGN's top 100 games of all time list, like you'll always see it at like 90 or 98 or something. It really feels like they specifically do that so people click on a list like this and like see Undertale no matter what. Like it just feels really forced and makes no sense. Like it's really interesting seeing Arlo talk about this because like you know these people they never talk about their own unique experiences with these games or how they discovered them or like what it means to them. It just feels really fake and very plastic. You know what I mean? It just doesn't feel real.
weird little indie game, largely made by one guy.
Wrong.
I have played games made
Wrong. Yeah. What is with this meme? Like Toby Fox never made this on his own. Like that's one of the weird things about this that I keep seeing come up. It's like one of the defining characteristics of the game. No, Toby Fox did not make this on his own. Like there were plenty of other artists. Like he plagiarized all the music. Like again, this was not a one-man show, okay?
by hundreds and hundreds of people with budgets in the hundreds of millions. And yet it's games like Undertale that truly illuminate what video games can accomplish as a unique artistic medium. What can I say? SteamWorld games.
Yeah, Undertale. It really has become like this generation's let's see, art form. What would be a good? Yeah, I feel like in a lot of ways, Undertale has kind of replaced The Last of Us in that way, where it's like it's hyped up as this really artistic game, and it's just not. Yeah, like Flower or like Journey or whatever. Like you get the same vibe from it, where it's not really a good game, but people hype it up because like, oh man, like Toby Fox, oh.
Are just good. Dig 2 is another perfect sequel that takes everything good about the original and blows it up.
I love how there's two SteamWorld games on here. Yeah, I was kind of underwhelmed with Dig 2. Like I love the original. And like Dig 2 wasn't bad by any stretch of the imagination, but like it definitely wasn't as good as it could have been, and I felt like it kind of ended suddenly, as I recall.
It's basically a Metroidvania where you dig down. You navigate these mines, collecting treasure, fighting enemies, avoiding traps, looking for secrets. The grid-based digging system is very well thought out. You've got to be very careful and strategic. And of course, you earn new abilities as you go, and you can use your money to upgrade yourself. I barely remember playing this game. Is one of those Metroidvanias where your toolkit starts out so modest, and filling it out and upgrading everything is crazy rewarding. You become so powerful, so much more mobile. It feels to me me like a game that's just about perfectly designed. From start to finish, it never stops delivering. But what makes it even better is its replayability. It's just the right length, and much of the map is procedurally generated. So with each playthrough, it's just as fun to explore, just as satisfying to work through. Actually, this is one of the only games, maybe the only game I've played where I rolled the credits for the first time and immediately dove into a fresh file without even getting out of my chair. And indeed, I have played it several times since. SteamWorld Dig 2 is like a tall glass of lemonade on a hot day. Every drop goes down easy. When you get to the end, you smile and go, ah, that was great. I could go for another one. Another Metroidvania for you. And I don't have a lot of underrated games to recommend to people. I've not really played a lot of lesser-known titles I consider to be hidden gems, but Yoku's Island Express is probably that game for me that I just gotta tell everyone about. Mixing up game ideas and genres is so much fun, especially when you mix something totally unexpected with something very well established. And I think the weirder the combination, the more amazing it is when you pull it off. And this game right here posits, what if Metroidvania, but pinball? Yeah, if you told me to make a search action game with a big map, but you're basically a pinball and there are paddles everywhere, I wouldn't know where to start. And yet these devs have conjured magic here. They didn't just do this weird idea justice. They managed to create a genuinely compelling game in its own right. The world is wonderful to explore. It's filled with all these charming characters and creatures. It's positively stunning to look upon. And sure, every once in a while the pinball element can get a little finicky, but for the most part, it just works. And it's incredibly fun. It is such a bummer this game didn't sell enough to be considered a success. But I like to think at least I've done my part to spread the good news. Longtime viewers may remember me bringing up this game a number of times. And you know what? This probably will not be the last. Yoku's Island Express is too good a game not to share. Indie devs do what Nintendo don't, in the absence of a true follow-up to the classic Paper Mario games.
What? Okay. The only good games he's shown so far are all SteamWorld games. Like, what the fuck is this? And Yoku. Like, what? Like, every other entry is like, is just pure shit. Like, what the hell is this? Yeah, so I have played Bug Fables. Not a whole lot of it, but I did start it. Like, Bug Fables is one of the most frustrating meme games I've ever seen, because like this was deliberately just meant to be like one of those indie games where it's like, modern, it's like classic Paper Mario but with bugs, right? Which isn't even like really that unique of a concept, but like for some reason people like Arlo in the Paper Mario community, like, they really glazed this game and hyped it up as a masterpiece when like nobody really gives a shit about it at all. It's embarrassing.
We have seen a number of pretty darn good Paper Mario likes, but for me, Bug Fables was the very first game to truly scratch that itch. Instead of having you acquire a whole cast of partners, it features just 3 main characters.
It's just the same thing. Like, there's no originality to it. It's like
But this is a strength. Mechanically, it's great to always have all 3 in battle. Their unique abilities work really well together. This is very much Paper Mario style combat, but some thoughtful little changes and additions actually raise the bar in my eyes. The strategy is even deeper, and the challenge level is much higher. Then these 3 characters have such marvelous chemistry. The writing is delightful. Each one of them has a distinct backstory and motivation and all that good stuff. It's very impressive that such a small team of people could have turned out an adventure that feels this huge, that actually rivals the scope of the games that inspired it. And it's an adventure that doesn't just ape that inspiration, but uses it as a foundation to build an experience that feels simultaneously familiar and fresh. It is unabashedly emulating Paper Mario, and yet it's Bug Fables. It actually improves upon the formula in some great ways while firmly establishing its own unique identity, its own unique vibe. Sure, it stumbles in a few places, it's certainly not perfect, but it's close enough. And whatever Paper Mario likes come next, this will always be the first game to capture that same magic for me. Halfway through the list, I want to give you another honorable mention. Planet of Lana is another one that I might have played too recently to know for sure where it should place in a ranking, and it's a relatively short game that I probably won't return to a bunch of times, but I cannot deny the very pure and intense enjoyment of that first experience. It's everything I could want from a cinematic platformer. The characters with their fictitious language are so charming, the otherworldly visuals and sweeping score are breathtaking, the puzzles are elegantly designed, so simple yet so satisfying, the overall story and theming tick all the right boxes for me, and the emotional impact of the experience
Yeah, sorry about that. All right.
was heavy.
Yeah, I played
indeed.
Planet of Lana
I
too,
can confidently
but, yeah,
say
it's,
that
it's
no
a
other
puzzle
game has
platformer, and I
squeezed
just-
more tears out of these
This is
eyeballs.
like, I'm so tired of these
Nothing
games.
else has come close. Planet
like
of
the most
Lana
generic
didn't
indie
quite
game.
grab a spot on this list, but I had to mention it anyway, and I hope that says something about how much I enjoyed it. Before we continue discussing my very favorite Nintendo Switch video games, a quick reminder that this video was brought to you by Squarespace. You know, monsters, story, cheesy dialogue, all play. I would. Now, here are some more Nintendo Switch video games I think are good. The Resident Evil Revelations collection contains both games
come
in one
on.
convenient
Both
package.
these games
And
are
this one's a
awful.
little bit of a cheat because I did actually play Revelations 1 on my 3DS. A lot. But I picked up the collection primarily because I hadn't played 2 yet. I
These
do
games are
love me
garbage.
some Resident Evil.
Garbage.
And these games are some pretty darn good Resident Evil. Not series best, especially with the mainline games reaching such crazy heights in recent years, but still highly enjoyable. Gameplay, design...
They're so bad. I couldn't even finish Revelations 2. I was so bored with it. So bored with it. What a load of crap. Yeah, Monster Hunter Rise. So, like, you have 2 SteamWorld titles, 2 Capcom titles. Like, what?
For many a year, I finally gave Rise a try, and to say it clicked would be a serious understatement. The game grabbed me and pulled me
Yeah, I need to
deep,
get back into Rise. I never
deep
did
into
Deep
its
Sun Break.
depths. I fell in love with its combat, which seemed so sluggish and difficult at first, but soon revealed itself to be deep and thoughtful,
Way better
requiring
than
a
Elden Ring.
delicate balance of preparation and
need to get back into
observation and on-the-fly decision-making and twitchy reflexes. And man, smacking monsters on the head just feels so darn good. The monsters are animated and behave so organically. It really feels like you're hunting down
Yeah, we
these
really need to get
living,
back into
breathing
Monster Hunter.
creatures. Each and every encounter feels meaningful. And then there is that delicious, exquisite feedback loop. Hunting to gather materials, to craft better gear, to hunt stronger monsters, to get better materials, to craft better gear, and so on, and so on. And all these little supplementary systems, all these ways to beef up your hunter, to customize your build. And then all these completely distinct weapons to choose from, something for every playstyle. Just pick up a new weapon and suddenly it's like you're playing a new game. No, I really mean it. Once Monster Monster Hunter Rise got its hooks in me, all I wanted to do was play it. I just forever and ever, make Monster Hunter my full-time job, please. The hours playing it simply melted away into nothing, and playing with friends was some of the most fun I
Monster
had
Hunter
on my
Rise is
Switch.
the only
Full
good
stop.
Monster Hunter game we've gotten
A
since,
Metroidvania
like,
on
4.
this list? I don't believe you. Well, believe it, sister! Blasphemous is another one of those peanut butter and chocolate kind of situations. Metroidvania Souls-likes weren't nearly as common when it came out, so this was the kind of experience my very soul had been yearning for without even knowing it. And right now you're probably like,
Dark Souls is basically a Metroid-like. What are you talking about? Acting like it's a completely different genre is retarded. Like, Dark Souls is basically just a 3D Castlevania, if you think about it. Like, that's all it is. Stardew? Aw, what shit taste is this? Fucking Stardew?
grabbed me by the scruff of the neck like this one. I'd never actually seriously played a farming sim before, and I think many will agree.
Yeah. Stardew fans never played a farming sim before, many such cases. Yeah, I will say, I am glad that Stardew is like universally more beloved than Undertale. And unlike Undertale, I think the developer actually did produce the entire thing on his own. So like it definitely has a lot more credibility. But like, yeah, it's not a good game because it's one of the. It really did just rip off Harvest Moon.
That they don't get much better than this. Cleaning up and building a farm, caring for crops, slowly growing the whole operation, the money I make feeding directly into its further development. Already an enticing prospect. But then the game heaps on all these other activities. Fishing, foraging, exploring, relationships with the townfolk, fighting monsters and collecting ore in the mines. There are so many options, so many ways to play, so many goals to work toward. It feels like this unending buffet that just opens itself up to you and says, go nuts. And of course, this is a world that's just delightful to be in. Lovely pixel art, some of the finest music to ever grace a video game, just the most immaculate vibes, but with just a touch of poignancy here and there, just enough to add emotional depth to the experience. This game was where the Switch's handheld nature actually became a problem. I couldn't stop myself from picking it up, and the hours, they flew by. They melted away like nothing.
Yeah,
there was a time when it was genuinely impacting my life and livelihood.
Yeah, maybe I
was so miserably hooked. Since then, they've added a ton of additional content to the game, but I do not dare boot it up again. It's too dangerous. Stardew Valley.
Yeah, I do not dare boot it up again. Yeah. So Stardew fans don't even play the game that much.
Is the ultimate cozy game. Peak escapism. If I had to pick only one game to play for the rest of my life, I don't know what it would be, but this one would be very, very high on the list of contenders.
But you're not even playing it now.
My relationship with Dark Souls has evolved a lot over the years.
So everything on this list is fucking garbage. Yeah, so unlike Stardew, I've actually played Dark Souls recently. I actually popped it in again and started playing through on Orlando. And it just dawned on me on just how boring and repetitive the game actually is. It's like you're walking through like these French halls and just like beating these knights, and it's just like it's boring, it's unintuitive, it's like there's nothing to it really. It's just not all that interesting. People just think it's way better than it actually is.
When I first reviewed it, I found it to be a frustrating, clunky experience that was nevertheless compelling in its own way. Then when I put it in my Games of the Decade video, I admitted that, in retrospect, the experience had impacted me a lot more than I initially realized.
Wait, what?
And since then, my love for not only Dark Souls, but FromSoft games overall has fully blossomed. I have played Dark Souls many more times since that first playthrough. Most of them on Xbox rather than Switch, but that first time on Switch, it practically rewired my brain. Even if I didn't realize it at the time, it's basically impossible to sum up my thoughts here in this little blurb. They could probably fill up a book. I mean, there's the more obvious stuff. The vast, largely interconnected world and the way it plays with tension and release between the bonfires and the shortcuts. The combat that, again, seems clunky and sluggish at first, but when you meet it where it is, you see that it simply requires a level of patience and persistence you might not be used to. And them vibes, the locales dripping with atmosphere and unspoken history, the impossible architecture, the dark Western fantasy aesthetic with a Japanese flair, the grotesque monsters, I like those. There's a sense of mystery that hangs in the air at all times, a depth that I feel like I'll never reach the bottom of. But even more than all that, I've never played a game that felt like more of a philosophical lesson, that reflected life itself in such a way. Yes, the game is janky and obtuse. It does a terrible job of explaining its systems, if it tries at all. Some of the bosses are legitimately unfair. I was glued to a guide for much of that first experience. I would normally count these things against a game, and of course I did at first. But then that FromSoft Stockholm Syndrome took hold. Now, like an old coach who seemed like a tyrant, who I felt pushed me way too hard, now I see how much it grew me by always demanding a little more than I thought I could handle. It assaulted me with challenges, many of which felt impossible. But it also gave me a lot of tools to choose from. Look up a cheese strategy for a boss or a really strong build? That's valid. Knuckle down and learn its attack patterns until you can scrape out a victory? Also valid. However you get to the end, you're a stronger person for it. But the key is persistence. No other game has been as effective in teaching me the value of patience and concentration. Just like life, Dark Souls can be brutal and unfair. But when you meet it where it is, you learn that even the impossible can be possible. Sometimes even a cakewalk. Dark Souls isn't just one of the best games I've played on Switch. It's a contender for my favorite game of all time.
Oh, come on.
Well, that's it for the third parties. Now it's time for the main event.
Yeah, imagine glazing Dark Souls that much. So his top 10 third-party games list are a bunch of indie games and Dark Souls, basically. That's just embarrassing. I mean, yeah, Rise was a good pick. Yeah, Yoku was pretty solid. I like SteamWorld 2 was okay. SteamWorld Heist 2, it would be good if I had any time to play it. I'm sure, because every time I see it, it just looks fantastic. I just can't find the time to play it. Yeah, there were some good games sandwiched in there, but for the most part, it's like a bullshit list. It's just awful. Oh, hang on, I haven't been checking the chat. Yeah, okay.
Here are my top 10 favorite first-party Nintendo Switch games. Whoosh! There were several games I thought I would put on this list before Fire Emblem Three Houses. Yet when I looked back at my time with my Switch, I realized that Three Houses was one of those times.
Yeah, this is coming from someone who spurred out about Fortune's Weave being announced in the September 2025 Direct. Arlo complained about Fortune's Weave. And yet he's putting Three Houses in a top 10 list. This is embarrassing. This is ridiculous.
I was really, really dialed in, deeply invested, kind of obsessed for a bit. And there's plenty of good stuff to say about the tactical gameplay. It's a tried and true formula. It's such well-trodden ground that there's barely even anything to say about it. And here it's everything you could hope for. But really, it's all the stuff supporting that gameplay that made the experience special. I mean, the monastery it's basically the actual game. It's where all the interesting stuff happens.
Oh, come on.
There are so many different activities to partake in, and it all allows you to strengthen and fine-tune your units in all these little ways. I normally get pretty overwhelmed when it comes to customizing characters and digging into all these deeper RPG systems like this, but I had a blast here. More than anything, though, I just got sucked into the world. Just the pure, like, imagination and role play of it. This was my first Fire Emblem game, and I was surprised by the richness of the world building. There's a huge cast of characters, most of them recruitable as units, with not only a ton of dialogue between them and the main character, but between themselves in basically any combination. These people are
Wow.
fun and interesting to listen to.
Wow, huge Fire Emblem fan plays Fire Emblem for the first time. Wow, what a crazy. Yeah, these are all basic series things, Arlo.
Fun to learn about their backstories and everything. The writing is good, and just about every line is fully voice acted, with solid performances all around. I got so absorbed in this extra stuff, I basically treated the game like a life sim, so I ended up over-leveling hard and just like trivializing much of the experience, but I still enjoyed the heck out of my time with the game. And I know that if I ever get around to doing another run on a higher difficulty, I've got multiple entire new story branches to follow. That's a crazy amount of value in one game right there. At the time of this recording, Splatoon 3 is the latest entry in the series, and I do believe that it's superior to its predecessors. However, when I consider my own experiences with each game, so far, nothing comes close to the fun I had with Splatoon 2. The Switch had just launched, so getting together with friends to play via System Link was one of the most exciting video game experiences I had had in years. Especially after several years, just many years, of not really knowing anyone else who played Nintendo games at all. The whole game was great. It improved upon the original in every conceivable way. The single-player campaign was once again pretty short, which was a little disappointing, but still immensely fun. Everything is well designed as a 3D Mario game. The new weapons and specials were really cool. They felt a lot more balanced. There was a ton to choose from. But you've probably noticed by now that I am much more of a co-op guy than a competitive guy. So for my money, Salmon Run was what made Splatoon 2 such a special experience. Big shout out to the whole Palooza Cruiser, my main Switch playing buddies at that time, as well as any viewers who heroically carried us through the higher ranks. You know who you are. This new mode was everything I loved about Splatoon, but now I could actually win sometimes. The teamwork involved, the unpredictability of each run, the often punishing difficulty. It all amounted to some untoppable play sessions. The kinds of pizza and soda late nights I hadn't had in an age. And we would even like bring our TVs and monitors together to do like a big, like basically LAN party all in one room where we've each got our own TV. Oh man. It was a definite highlight of the whole Switch generation and one of those moments in the story of my life that I look back on very fondly. I'm sorry, I've always got to open with this when I talk about this game, but I don't even like 2D Mario games that much. I know, I'm a weirdo. I'm just not that into 2D platformers by themselves. I'm a brutish casual. I need a little bit more to keep me interested. And of course, I spent years being all grumpy about this super plain, basic Mario aesthetic that Nintendo was leaning on. Well, I don't know what happened.
So he doesn't even play 2D Mario. Yeah, Arlo was like front and center when it came to bitching about like new Super Mario Bros. Back in the day. So like it's very interesting to see him like straight up come out and admit that he doesn't like 2D platformers. Like, what is with this idea that these games don't have value? Like, 'cause that's just always been a giant cope. It doesn't make any sense.
Nintendo, but it's like they made Super Mario Bros. Wonder just for me. It's literally everything I could want in a 2D Mario. The same top-of-the-line level design Nintendo is famous for, but now with a mechanic to add an unexpected twist to every stage. The twist has pretty much always been part of the Mario formula to an extent, but Wonder focuses on that part more than anything, and the result is a game that never stops surprising you. It's a game that's all about unpredictability, and because of this, it is one of the most creative Mario games ever. It's like the artists and the designers were given free rein to throw in every wacky idea they had. And this raw creativity, this joyous experimental spirit comes through in the visuals as well. These characters, once so
was this like Takashi Tezuka's best run ever? Because like this and Mysterious Book were just like both phenomenal. I don't know what he was doing like in the past decade, but like it's just like, man, it's just phenomenal.
and homogenized are
Last 2D
suddenly
Mario game you'll ever
uniquely
work on,
stylized
probably.
and
Wow.
bursting with personality. And the overall art style, I really think this is the best Mario has ever looked. It's clean and relatively simple. You know, it's very much Mario, but with such flair, such polish, so modern. Then the world map uses a refreshing mix of styles. There are lots of different kinds of bonus levels to enjoy, and the badge system adds an unexpected layer of depth. The game is unfortunately not strictly a masterpiece, or at least it wasn't back when I played it on the original Switch. If the extra boss battles and challenge mode from the Switch 2 edition had been present from the start, I think this may have been the single best platformer I had ever played. Does that mean that it is now? I'm still not sure yet. Tropical Freeze is a really hard one to topple, but at least as the game was before the Switch 2 came around, as it was when I did play it on the original Switch, which is what we're talking about, it was still a treasure. It was still the precise 2D Mario experience I had been waiting much of my life for. After the fun but lacking Luigi's Mansion 2, 3
Wrong.
was a heavy rain after a drought. It's still
What are you talking about? Like, what are you talking about? Like, Luigi, I will never understand this like weird mentality that like Luigi's Mansion 2 is bad. It's a cope, okay? Luigi's Mansion 2 is infinitely better than the first one. Like, there's just no getting around it. Okay, Luigi's Mansion 2 is a fucking masterpiece, and I want you to acknowledge it. Like, and what is he talking about? Like, long drought? Like, you got 3 like 6 years after 2. Like, that was a shorter turnaround time than like the original to 2. Like, it's like, what are you talking about? Like, 2 made the series popular. Okay, like I just don't understand it.
somewhat linear, considering most floors have distinct themes and
Like
are meant
the
to be
weird
completed in one
autistic
go.
hatred
But it's
for
close
2
enough
makes no
to the
sense to me.
original format and still feels enough like you're working through one large building.
Especially
Character
since,
ghosts
like,
are back, giving
Most
the
of
game
these people glaze 3 so much when like 3 is a sequel to 2. It's like it's made by the same people. So like I don't understand it like at all. Like, no, the portrait ghosts weren't that interesting. Like, no, the interconnected mansion didn't add anything to the experience. Like, I just don't.
a tremendous amount of personality, meeting and puzzling out and eventually fighting.
I have never heard a valid criticism of Luigi's Mansion 2 outside of like the mission structure and like not having portrait ghosts. That's it. And like that's just a non-issue, honestly.
And capturing each one is
That
a
pisses me
delight.
off.
I would say that this sense of character, the
I've
art
play-
style,
I've played
the
2 again
atmosphere,
recently.
the pristine graphics,
I think I
just
like
the
it more than 3,
overall
actually.
visual presentation. This is where the game shines brightest. It is
And when's Next Level
unbelievable
putting out a new
that
game?
a Switch game can look this good. It's so polished and clean. It looks like an animated movie at times. And when you combine that presentation with the very tactile feel of sucking and blowing air, smashing objects and slurping up all the money and debris, flinging ghosts all over the place, it makes for a gameplay feel, a raw, moment-to-moment enjoyability that I think stands with Nintendo's best. It's a game I can pick up and the neurons just start firing, you know? And I love how much mechanical depth the game adds over the other two. The gameplay is largely the same, but now we've got so many fun tools to pull from, so many ways to interact with this world, and much more agency in combat. I am slightly mixed on the combat. Smashing ghosts feels really, really good, but it might be a little too useful, and so it kind of ends up taking up too much of each encounter. And my biggest gripe is that while it's such incredible fun collecting as much money as possible, you eventually learn that there's no real reward beyond a certain point, and there isn't even an upgrade system like in 2, so repeat playthroughs lack some of that magic. However, I feel that Luigi's Mansion 3 is very close to perfection. And considering this is a first-party Nintendo game we're talking about, that's saying something. It offers a truly unique gameplay experience, top-level Nintendo brand quality, and a wonderful vehicle for our beloved Luigi. I've been waiting for a 3D Kirby game pretty much since 3D became a thing. And yet, I could have never anticipated that the first one would be like this. In terms of visuals and theming and
Yeah, I love
atmosphere,
Forgotten Land.
the
Yeah,
team
Forgotten
behind
Land
Kirby and the
is,
Forgotten
like,
Land
absolutely
went
one of the
so
best games ever
above
made.
and beyond. A Kirby adventure through a post-apocalypse city is just not something I would have ever expected, and they pulled it off expertly.
It's so
It
good.
creates an undercurrent of strangeness, this light but
Love
ever-present
Forgotten
emotional
Land, yeah.
depth. It allows
Best
the game
Kirby
to
ever.
touch on darker themes whenever it's most impactful, but it never gets lost in its own sauce. It never betrays the uplifting spirit of
Kirby's
Kirby.
fucking
Joining
badass,
him
man.
as he practically dances through this ruined and abandoned place is a testament to and constant reminder of his indomitable spirit. This bright, colorful, spunky story has been built upon the moldering remnants of a world so like our own. And I was initially disappointed that the game consisted of linear levels, offering a pretty exact 3D adaptation of the 2D style, but I soon found that this was strictly to the game's benefit. This gorgeous setting is
Yep.
perfectly framed
Yep.
at all times, offering a weirdly cinematic experience, enhancing the unexpected
they
theming
really
and
killed it with
grand
this game.
scope.
People do not
and still,
realize how
this
good it was.
is a Kirby game first and foremost.
Oh yeah.
and the
I
gameplay
did make my
carries
top 10 Switch games list, didn't I? This was number 10 on my list.
an unmistakable familiarity when it comes to
Phenomenal game.
moveset and controls, while that third dimension lends it a pinch more depth, especially during boss encounters. In true Kirby fashion, each copy ability changes the gameplay dramatically, and the ability to upgrade them adds a very refreshing sense of progression. I've said it many times and I will say it again, all games are art to a degree, but I feel like Kirby and the Forgotten Land reaches an artistic level that is rare for Nintendo. You can mine so much meaning from its themes, you can appreciate its emotional and cinematic qualities, and yet it functions perfectly well as a simple, colorful experience to just have some fun with. Give it to a 5-year-old, they'll love it. It deftly operates within multiple realms of enjoyability. It is both a work of art and a silly kids game. Why does that feel so fitting for Kirby? Halfway through this list, we've got another honorable mention. I didn't want to give Bowser's Fury a whole slot since it's essentially a mini-campaign stapled onto a different game that I
Still
do
have not
like a
played Bowser's
lot,
Fury. I
but not
really
enough
need to
for a
get around
top
to
10
it.
list. However, it would be
I really
wrong
need to
not
get
to
around
at
that one. I do not have an opinion about Bowser's Fury. I have a bad habit of not playing these expansions to to Switch ports, but yeah, one of these days. People have been glazing
Enjoyable
Bowser's Fury a
Pokemon
lot lately, so I really do need to get on it. But every time I play 3D World, I just play 3D World.
experience since I was a young lad. Not strictly open world, yet exploring these open zones filled with wild, wandering Pokemon felt fresh and exciting. The tried and true, yet fairly stale turn-based combat was invigorated by strong and agile styles, and the new
Legends Arceus is one of my all-time favorite games. Yeah, Metroid Dread. That's a good pick. No! No. The fucker put Pikmin higher than Dread? Fucking bullshit.
They finally did Pikmin 4. And they would have had to screw up pretty bad for it not to make this list. But no,
They did.
didn't
It's awful.
screw up.
This game
In
sucks.
fact, they gave us a Pikmin game I would have never, ever expected. Considering the series as a whole, considering Miyamoto's whole design philosophies, I could have never guessed they would pull a complete 180 and give me the kind of Pikmin experience Arlo, personally would love, and one that almost felt like an apology for making us wait so long. Instead of a shorter experience with a focus on replayability, they blew the whole thing up and delivered several
and it didn't
dozen
work. It didn't
hours
work.
of content. After Pikmin 3 hugely stripped back its gear system, 4 quadrupled down on collectible tools and items and tons of meaningful upgrades. Instead of a small cast of characters, this one has a huge cast and really expands the Pikmin universe. We can finally do stuff at night, which is awesome, obviously. Against all odds, they brought back caves! Like what?
Yep,
It's like
destroyed
they
it.
found my pie in the sky wish
Yeah,
list. You know,
what?
all
Like,
the
what?
stuff I would
What is with people acting like caves are good? Like I don't understand it. Caves are like the single worst thing that's ever happened to Pikmin. It might be like the worst thing to ever happen to any first party Nintendo IP. I can't think of anything I hate more than Pikmin caves. They're just awful.
love, but
They're
I would
not
never
fun.
really expect, and delivered a good 2/3 of it. And on top of that, of course, this is the most streamlined, polished Pikmin gameplay I
Yeah,
could have ever
casualized, you mean,
imagined,
yeah.
which is really saying something after 3. The game is most definitely not without its flaws. I completely admit that for nearly every plus I can list, some small bit of essence has been either lost or diluted. The bloated runtime does hurt replayability, and the abundance of dialogue can be rather overwhelming. The streamlined gameplay, Ochi especially, mitigates much of the raw challenge factor present in the other games. And don't get me started on how instead of truly being a universe-expanding next chapter, it's a completely unnecessary soft reboot of sorts. But over the years, I've really come to appreciate sequels that do something new, even if something old is lost, as long as the core spirit remains intact. And for all of its flaws, for all the ways it kind of misses the point of the older games, it excels all the more in other categories and in its own unique ways. This is a Pikmin experience unlike any other, and I think just the kind we needed after so long a wait. Plus, many of its flaws ended up being fixed after the fact with an update, so there you go.
I still have not played the free update
Pikmin
version.
4. We got Pikmin 4. Say whatever else you will about the Nintendo.
How long has it been? Like, when did this come out? Like 2023, 2022? It's been a long time. I have not touched this game since I beat it, so it might be worthwhile for me to play through it again, just so I have like I don't know, just so I have like a more cohesive view on it. It might be time to go back to it.
Switch. It gave us Pikmin stinking 4. I have surprised myself by putting Pikmin 4 below Super Mario Odyssey on this list. I like Mario a lot,
Yeah,
like
Odyssey's
he's cool,
not
but
good, yeah.
I am a Pikmin freak, and yet I simply can't deny.
Yeah, I like Odyssey, but like, there's no denying it's like it's not on the same level as a lot of other first-party games. Yeah, and the last one is Breath of the Wild. Of course it is. Unless he shit talks like Tears of the Kingdom, which I doubt. I can't imagine he'll have any hot takes.
Seem to know what to do with Zelda anymore. I was starting one is this game ever, even in a bubble, but in the context of 2017, Nintendo's sudden redemption, the bold new frontier that was the Switch.
Modern Warfare got announced for Switch 2, really? About time. Wow. It's been like, when was the last COD we got? It was like a Wii U one. I want to say it was like Ghost or like Black Ops 3 or some crazy shit like that.
This triumphant return to the classic 3D
Yeah, I'm gonna have to pick
Mario
that up.
formula
I have not played
created
COD
a
in 3
core
years.
gaming memory for me that I will
And never on
always
day one
treasure.
on a actual console. So
And now for number 1. Cue Wistful Piano. You want to talk about
yeah, I'll be picking up
core
COD for sure.
gaming memories. Games that defined a generation. It's a similar story to Mario. Skyward Sword was a good game in its own ways, but it wasn't the kind of Zelda game I was looking for.
Oh,
and
come
it
on.
showed us a Nintendo that didn't trust the player, wanted to
What?
keep them on a tight leash.
What?
One that held convoluted gimmicks on the very highest pedestal. One that didn't quite seem to know what to do with Zelda anymore. I was starting to lose hope for the series. And then came Breath of the Wild. A game which aimed to right every one of Skyward Sword's wrongs. A completely opposite experience in every possible way. And at the time, the boldest new direction the series had taken since Ocarina of Time itself. A complete reinvention. Not just an
I'd say Breath of the Wild is actually quite a bit distinct from Ocarina because like Ocarina is very rooted in like a Link to the Past design. It's very similar in a lot of ways, only in like a 3D space. Like it used to be a cope among PlayStation owners that like Ocarina was just a remake of a Link to the Past, which of course isn't true, but like that was a narrative at the time. Breath of the Wild is so radically detached from like the traditional Zelda formula. Like I think even that comparison is kind of a stretch.
open world. Not just an open world, but a massive,
But yeah, one of the best games I've ever played, for
massive
sure,
one.
yeah.
A staggeringly huge one.
I mean,
one
his
where you
Nintendo-
can go anywhere at any.
His Nintendo list was better than the third-party list, but like, I mean, Nintendo's just better than third-party games in general. I don't know, like, it's harder to like glaze weird Nintendo games. Like Pikmin 3 was a bad Pikmin 4 was a bad pick. I don't know. Were there any other bad picks? Yeah, Pikmin 4 was bad. Uh yeah, a lot of the games he picked are the same ones I picked, actually. Yeah, Pikmin 4 is like, yeah, Pikmin 4 was a really bad pick. But like other than that, like his top 10 Switch games list was fine.
Time. Climb any surface as long as you've got the stamina or an alternate method. Oh, we weren't just taken off the rails. We were given freedom on a level we could never have fathomed. And the mechanics, the series had toyed with so many mechanics over the years, but suddenly we had fully realized versions of so many of them, all working together now, all combining into one cohesive experience, as though Zelda had been working toward this exact point all along. This final realization. The big focus on physics systems felt like pure magic. How could all of these elements mesh together so perfectly? How could there be so many layers upon layers of interactivity? Who could have imagined a Zelda game that encouraged so much experimentation, where one player's experience could be vastly different from another's? Freedom and exploration are some of the qualities I value most in games, and here was a Zelda game that was so vast, so wide open, with so much to discover and try and simply marvel at. It was almost like waking up to a second life. And of course, just as surprising was the atmosphere. After the series' often cartoonish, bombastic, very talky history, here was a Zelda that was quiet. Unflinchingly quiet, understated, subtle. Like our own natural world, it provided limitless opportunity, but made no immediate demands. The goals laid out for Link felt like mere suggestions. There was no companion character or even a traditional tutorial. Despite the new mechanical depth, Nintendo trusted me, and I was taught naturally through subtle signposting, my own experimentation, and only a handful of button prompts. This made for a very refreshing gameplay experience, but also dramatically impacted the game's feel. You are unhurried as you explore this world. And what a world to explore! This vast kingdom from corner to corner is a reflection of the cyclical nature of existence, a meditation on the delicate balance of life and death. A whole civilization decimated by the forces of evil, pushed to the very brink of oblivion. So then, why is there infinite beauty to be found in this place? There's a sense of peace.
Obviously, it's because Ganon is actually the good guy, and that he saved nature from the evil, exploitive Hylians who are ruining nature with their civilization. So Ganondorf came and saved the world from humanity. The virus that plagued it.
Hyrule. And yet that piece silently whispers of the horrors that preceded it by its very existence. The dark history of this place is always within arm's reach, so time spent here is constantly punctuated by intense pangs of melancholy. No Nintendo game has ever said so much with so few words. I think on paper, Tears of the Kingdom is a superior game. I also feel that a goodly portion of this game's novelty has worn off somewhat, largely thanks to Tears of the Kingdom's failings. I don't know if this is what I actually want Zelda to be moving forward, and only time will tell if this game will end up representing a bold new direction for the series.
Bro. Ask yourself a question. Would a traditional 3D Zelda game do better than Breath of the Wild? The answer is no. So yes, you do want this to be the future of Zelda.
Or a hard turn that eventually veered it off course again. But once again, my initial experience with Breath of the Wild was powerful. What it seemed to mean for the future of the series, and playing it day one on my Switch, and what that meant for the future of Nintendo. It was magic. Pure magic. The kind of gaming experience that perhaps only happens a few times in a person's life, and that has only become more and more rare as I've aged and as the industry develops. I know it was originally supposed to be a Wii U game, but Breath of the Wild was the Switch for me. It was my first experience with the system, and the one I'll always look back on most fondly. My number one, no doubt about it, all-time favorite Nintendo Switch game. That first party list.
Yeah, yeah, the first party list isn't bad. Um, I've been streaming for too long. Yeah. I mean, I got started early, so I think I'm gonna take a nap and then like get back to editing and get things going. So yeah, thank you all for tuning in, putting up with my nonsense because I don't think I put on a good show today. Like my throat hurts. So yeah, I'm gonna sign off.